Here's a quick introduction to ultrasound. Ultrasound is actually a very rapidly growing technique that is actually very useful in the medical community, and it's being used by way more than just physicians, but it's also being used now increasingly by nurse practitioners, by physician's assistants, and many more that have discovered the utility of this technique. So it's growing very rapidly all over the world, and the machines that are being used, you can see one actually over here, from Canon Medical Systems, have begun to undergo a miniaturization. So this is a really big one. You can actually see here it has at least 4 probes that are plugged in currently, but now you can get ultrasound machines that are much, much smaller and also handheld. If you think about what would be the first choice for a medical imaging modality, if you have an ultrasound machine, this is often the first choice, especially if you come to the acute and trauma setting. The World Health Organization estimates that diagnostic ultrasound is probably needed in about 20 or 30% of cases worldwide, and because clinical considerations just wouldn't be enough to make a precise diagnosis otherwise. Okay, in cases that do require diagnostic imaging, about 80 or 90% of the diagnostic problems can usually be resolved by using an X-ray or ultrasound exams. And with ultrasound machines becoming smaller and smaller and more portable, and mostly also much more affordable, because usually ultrasound machines will range in the tens of thousands of dollars. Now if you think about an ultrasound machine that might be only costing, let's say, $5,000 or less, it actually becomes something that could be nearly affordable for just about every GP. So this said, and then we add on the advantage that ultrasound is actually very, very safe to use. We'll talk about the ALAR principles later on. This is why it's not really a big surprise that a lot of medical schools are starting to use and integrate more and more ultrasound into their medical school curriculum.